What's up, everybody? I just wanted to do a quick video on this. I know I post a lot of random crap, but that's just because I got a lot of random interests. Um, I bought this Sig Sauer 177 cal pellet rifle about 6 or 7 months ago, and I was looking around for ways to switch it over to high pressure air. And a lot of people were doing the, external bottle, and that just, it seemed really cumbersome to me to have to carry around a paintball tank. I would much rather have it all just mounted to the gun. So this is what I came up with. You can see basically what I did is I did the air venturi mod, where they bring the hose out of the buttstock of the gun, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen. And you just use the twist-on connector inside there. But what I did with this one is I used a curly hose, popped it out, and then wrapped it around the butt of the gun. I might wind up swapping that out and just get a shorter hose that can go straight up to the tank, but this is what I had, so that's what I used. And yeah, I bought this tank. It's a 4,500 psi tank with a 1,200 psi regulator on it. And the reason I went with 1,200 is I looked at the CO2 pressure charts for temperatures, and it seemed like the highest at around 95 degrees Fahrenheit it would reach about 1,300 psi. So I made an educated guess and figured that the gun should handle at least 1,300 to 1,400 psi at its maximum. So that's why I decided to go with the 1,200 psi regulator. I know the air venturi kit that you can buy with the buttstock and all that stuff, the regulator I think is only 900 psi if I remember correctly. And I just I wanted to try to max this thing out while doing it as safely as possible. Now, mounting the tank was actually really interesting. This is a 0.45 liter 4,500 psi aluminum tank, and they don't actually make a bracket to mount this thing on the gun. I looked and looked and looked for something that would work on the key mod, and what I wound up finding was on AliExpress. I found these guys. Now these are 50 to 60 millimeter headlight clamps that are meant for a motorcycle. So these would be to clamp onto the fork of the motorcycle, and you can see I've got two. This one's been modified. I didn't want to bend this one yet, just so I could show you guys what they look like, but I think these were about 30 bucks for the pair of them, shipped in from China. They're heavy cast aluminum. So yeah, if you're looking for something that can do this, this is the only thing I could find that has the clamp that opens up to 50 to 60 millimeters so that you can mount it on the gun. Now what I did to mount it, and this is just kind of my first little quick attempt to get it on there. I think I'm gonna do some reinforcement just because this key mod rail is it's like a composite plastic, it's not actually metal. So I think I'm gonna do some type of reinforcing here, maybe add a strip of metal along the side to have something to screw into, just because it's, you can see it's kind of moves around a little bit. And I mean, I don't use this gun a lot. It's not like I'm doing anything tactical, just kind of shooting stuff in the backyard. But if I set it down and it lands hard on that tank, I don't want it to bust this key mod rail off. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. But what I did to make it fit, you can see it's kind of discolored there. And all I did was I took the clamp and I slid it over the end of the bottle there. It's not quite wide enough, but then I just mark with a marker, kind of mark that piece, and then I stuck it in a vise, warmed it up with a torch, and just bent it. I just bent it. The heat is what caused it to discolor, which I actually don't mind because it kind of matches the color of the gun a little better. But yeah, so if you're looking for a way to mount your tank to a gun, this is like, man, I looked and looked and looked, and this is the only thing I could find. So I'll leave a link for this in the description below if anybody wants to try out this mod. I haven't, I don't have a chronograph, so, but I did notice that the boost in pressure up to 1250 does efficiently and quite drastically increase the muzzle velocity on this. I just know because when I was shooting it with CO2, you could actually see the pellet moving. Like you could, even on a full tank, your first couple of shots, you could see where the pellet was landing. You could follow it with your eye. It was slow enough that you could catch the motion of the pellet with your bare eye. But once I did this upgrade, I've shot a few clips out of it now, and it's actually been a little more difficult to sight it in because I can't even see where the pellet is landing in some cases. So if I'm not right on target, or it misses the paper because the sight's out, it's been a little trickier to sight it in just because the velocity is so much higher. So take that for what it's worth. It's obviously not measured, but it does appear that it's made it quite a bit more powerful. So anyways, just a quick little vid. I thought I would get this one out there. I've seen a lot of people doing this hose mod, but I hated when I originally did it and just had it hanging from the thread. It was just so annoying having, you know, you got to hold the bottle or stick it in your pocket or strap it to your belt, and then you got this stupid hose hanging off you, so it restricts your movement, and it just sucked. It just sucked. So this is a lot better. It did add a little bit of weight to the gun, obviously, but if you compare it to the, like I've handled a real AR-15 and M16s, and it honestly, because of the materials it's made out of, it doesn't make it unbearable to bring the gun up and hold it steady. So yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there. Feel free to leave me any comments or questions, or if you want to know where I got some of this stuff, yeah, just shoot me a comment and I'll answer in the comment section. All right, cheers.